Okay, so thanks so much everyone for sharing that information. We appreciate it. Love to look forward to the fall and the change in seasons here. So we will go on with some updates here. So today we're going to go through some dyslexia screener dates and information on dyslexia training, and then in some intervention resources. And then we will definitely have time to go through some questions we've received and questions that you have. So regarding the dyslexia screener, just a reminder that the first grade screeners should be completed by October 22nd. And then you have from until April 15th to complete those kindergarten screeners that we do in the spring. And then your final date for submission to the MDE is May 6th. So you'll want to keep those dates in mind and possibly mark them on your calendar so that you're planning ahead for those. So here are our lists of dyslexia screeners that are available. Remember, you have to use one of the state-approved screeners. So there are these, and there are these screeners as well. So there are several screeners that you can choose from. And we will be putting out an RFQ in the next couple of weeks for the dyslexia screener. So we do that every so many years. So that's coming up this year that we'll be doing that. Okay, so regarding the dyslexia awareness training, so we will be providing the dyslexia awareness trainings for the state according to the House Bill 754. And our office will provide 4 one-hour sessions that will be recorded for teachers and paraprofessionals to complete. The first 2 sessions have already been released and are on the website, and the second 2 sessions will be available in November. The districts have until the end of April to complete the trainings. Also, districts may request on-site training from the intervention team if you prefer that in place of the video series. All teachers will receive a certificate of completion at the end of the training and will also be able to apply for CEUs. The law does not specifically specify that the training has to come from MDE only. However, if you're using someone other than MDE, the following information must be submitted. They must have a valid teaching license showing the presenter has obtained a master's in dyslexia therapy. They must have a current CALT certificate for the presenter and the outline containing the content they plan to cover during the training. Once all of that information has been approved by the district, the district will complete and submit a spreadsheet with all the teachers who've completed the training. And this office and the district will maintain a copy of this spreadsheet for their records. Okay, so Matt's going to take over the next part.
Okay. So Sandy, if you would now look at the chat for me.
I am unable to see the chat, but we can cover those questions. Are there any questions regarding that in the chat at this point, Matt?
No, there's not.
Okay, so we'll just cover the questions from the chat after we finish your section here.
Okay, sounds good. So I know in previous presentations we shared with you the state-approved intervention list, and we just wanted to remind you of those, that we do have both academic and behavior intervention lists available that are posted on our webpage. And just a point of clarification, I know that in some situations we've received calls or emails regarding whether or not the lists are required, or you have to use the interventions that are on these 2 particular lists. And the answer to that is no. You do not have to use the the information from, or the choose an intervention from either of these two lists. Districts have the flexibility to use whatever they see fit for their district. But this is just a really good comprehensive list that that the office and colleagues around the state have come together and pulled for those districts looking for intervention. So at this point in the process, in the teacher support team process, you know, you've gone through August and you've reviewed your MSIS list and your 20-day students. You've scheduled all of your meetings for them and reviewed all available data on those students. And so at this particular point in the year, you should be reviewing students' data that is provided from 9 weeks assessment. Can you go back just 1 second, Sandy?
Sorry.
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing.
I was just going ahead. Do you want me on that one? So
Yeah,
it's bigger?
go ahead to October. That's fine.
Okay.
So you should be reviewing the data that is provided from 9 weeks grades to make decisions about students who may need additional Tier 2 interventions in scheduling those meetings, who may need referral to TST for Tier 2 or 3. Documented review of meetings receiving Tier 2 conducted no later than 4 weeks after the implementation. Your student profile should also be completed. And you should have ample work samples provided to support that the interventions have been taking place. Your Tier 1 high quality classroom observations at this particular point should have been completed by your school administrator or his or her designee. And you should have completed sections 2A, 2B, 2C for students in Tier 2, and the 3B, 3C, and 3D for those students that may be receiving Tier 3 interventions. And then you should have any relevant data brought to you to help guide the decision-making process for interventions and support. Family guides. Almost all family guides to students have been delivered to schools and districts. So we want to thank those schools and districts that have made the request for them. We still have some in the office. I'm not really sure exactly how many per grade level, but I'm sure that if you have a request, we'll do what we can to make those available for you, but you may also find those on our website.
Also, we do have some available in Spanish if you should need any in Spanish. And our goal is to get them to you. So if you have a need, reach out to us. We'll give you what we can.
Okay.
So we have received some questions via email, and the first is, do all Tier 2 and Tier 3 students have to have hearing and vision done each year, or is this done only at the beginning of the tier process? So those hearing and vision screeners should be completed each year. That screening is good for 1 year. So if the student is referred in January, you'll want to make sure that by the next January, if they're still in the tier process, that they have another hearing and vision screening. The developmental history is good for only 3 months. So just keep that in mind. And how often should the teacher narrative be updated? Every 6 months. So I know some districts have teachers complete the teacher narrative once students are referred to Tier 3. Just make sure that that gets updated every 6 months. Okay, so now we have time for questions from you. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and
we do have one question in the chat. Will this be emailed to us? We will make the PowerPoint available to you all. And again, this presentation is being recorded, and we will make sure that's uploaded and sent as well.
That's correct.
Any other questions? I know this is a brief meeting, but we do want to spend some time answering any questions you all may have. Will the certificate of completion be printed at the end of the 4th 1-hour dyslexia training?
So we will connect with Lori. I'm going to copy that question and make sure that we get that question to her. So we can get that information, and we'll send that out when we send the slide deck out and the link to the recording.
Are all teachers K-12 required to complete the dyslexia training?
I believe so. Will there be any type of accountability or assessment for the dyslexia training? I don't believe that there's an assessment. Your district or your school may choose to do that, but ours, I believe the law requires that there is a training, not that there's an assessment. Does the person doing the vision and hearing have to be trained, or is it okay if an MTSS, these are going fast, interventionist does it? That's a great question. I will add that to the list for Lori. I know in the districts that I worked in, we always had the school nurse do it. It has to be somebody who's qualified. So that's another thing, you know, like I know as an MTSS person, I was not qualified to give a hearing and vision screening. Okay, I know you have mentioned teachers and paraprofessionals must complete dyslexia training, awareness trainings. Administrators, great question. I'm sorry, I feel like these are all like related to the dyslexia that Lori and Jada really are the experts on. We may not know the answers to all of these, but we are definitely going to get them out to you. The training can be completed online. It does not have to be in person. It can be online. We have both options available. And if you would like to request an in-person training rather than using the videos, you just have to use the form that's on our dyslexia webpage. And also, we really appreciate your patience and understanding when you send in those requests for MTSS and dyslexia trainings. We are receiving a large number of requests. And also, just a reminder, if you send an email to us with a request or other questions, please, if you don't hear from us within a day or two, please email us back to confirm that we have received the request and the information. Just touch base with us in somewhere. We just want to make sure that things don't get lost in the email, and we want to make sure that we're meeting all your requests. Which form is the teacher narrative that you're referring to? So in the documentation packet, there is a teacher narrative. And some districts do have that done when the students are tested for special education. That's correct. Are non-certified staff required to complete the training as well? Yes, your paraprofessionals and your certified teachers. Okay, let me get down here to the other messages. Is our understanding that all staff must attend the dyslexia training? Yes. Is that not correct? I believe that is correct. All paraprofessionals and teachers. But the question about administrators, we're going to check on that. The law may not state that, although even if the law doesn't state that, I know that a lot of administrators like to be included in that so that they're well informed as to what their teachers are well informed of. Will the licensure department accept the dyslexia training for CEUs since it is less than 0.5 hours? Good question. A question we will send on to Lori. Is there an MDE provided FBA BIP training? So I don't think that we have that right now, but if you'll send in a request on that, we will work with someone in the Office of Special Education or another office to make sure we get you the training that you would like, and we'll connect with you specifically about what your specific needs are for that training. My curriculum team read it to mean everyone, as in custodians, teachers, assistants, teachers, everyone. I'm not sure about custodians. And again, we have to refer back to the law for the specifics on that. Anyone, so I have Miss Jackie here, and she says it's anyone who works with students.
Instructional staff.
Yes, that's correct. Thanks, Matt. And again, we will take all the questions that we don't have the answers for to Lori and Jada and make sure that they can connect to get all that information out.
Okay, here's a question. With the drop in MAP performance across the state, is there consideration for a lower pass level for the LBPA this year? That's something that we will have to take to our executive director. Actually, she will be able to provide us with more guidance in regards to the change of pass levels for those third graders. So,
but that has not been discussed
no.
at the department at this time. And as a reminder that using your MTSS team and your TST team is really essential for supporting those students. We know our numbers may look different around the state just because of the ongoing pandemic and how school was provided over the past year and a quarter, and we may still have kids who are having to be quarantined for a certain amount of times. So we're really looking to provide the best support that we can for the students who are really needing it. And we're also looking to see how that tier 1 instruction may need to differ a little bit, what additional supports can we provide to the classroom teacher who may need to provide additional supports to students at the tier 1 level. Can you discuss IRP requirements for the 4th graders this year based on last year's grade performance? There was a guidance document on the MD website, but we cannot locate it now. Let me go ahead and go to the website now and see what I can locate here. I know we have guidance on IRPs on the Intervention Services webpage. So on the Intervention Services webpage, and I'm going to share my screen. If you'll please make sure that you are muted.
You can motivate him.
So that we can hear clearly. Okay, let me share here. Okay, so I am on, oops, forgot to share that here. That's not what I want. So, Jackie, do you see my screen on your screen? Okay, so you'll see I'm on the Intervention Services webpage, and then you'll see here there's a specific section for individual reading plans. I can't see the chat anymore, so I can't see the questions. But we have the alignment checklist, the IRP and LPBA facts, and then just information on the Literacy-Based Promotion Act and that webinar from last year. Matt, can you repeat that question for me?
Okay, it says, can you discuss the requirements for fourth graders this year based on last year's GATE performance? There was a guidance document on the MDE website, but we cannot locate it. And also, it continues to say we located the big Q&A packet, but there was a separate one-page document specific to this year's fourth graders due to the GATE, not counting last year, but that's the document they cannot find.
Okay, do you recall, if you could recall the name of that document, or at least that way we can make sure we get that document back on the web page. I'm not sure why it's not there.
Okay, someone says, I think what you're talking about is the third grade reading summative assessment guidance.
Okay, let me put that here.
And it could have also been on the literacy support webpage. We may want to also look there, Sandy.
So the fourth grade IRPs post-pandemic. I'm just kind of taking notes so I'll know exactly what to ask for, because I'm sure Lori's going to see this and say, oh yes, I know exactly which one they're talking about. Okay. And Misty has put in the link. Thank you, Misty. You're so perfect. Thanks. I appreciate that. So Michelle, if you can look at that link that Misty put in and see if that's the one you were looking for.
From the Office of Student Assessment.
It's just a 2-pager. Okay, and Pamela has an EMSIS question. I'm not sure if I can answer it, but Pamela, if you want to unmute, you are welcome to. Oh, great. That's it, Michelle. Perfect. Thanks. Thank you so much, Carla, for providing that.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When I'm entering students into MTSS, those tier 3 students, it asks for the type of referral, which is academic, the referral to TST, the determination date, but then it also asks for the intervention success. Do I wait to put that intervention success in until another date because we don't know the intervention? I mean,
I
if
would
it was
wait.
successful, just leave
Yes,
that
ma'am.
blank.
I would leave it blank because I mean, you just started it. You don't
Right.
know if it's successful yet.
Okay. If I have already put it in there on some of them, how big of a problem is that?
I'm not sure about that. Okay.
Okay.
And you're not able to change it. You can't go in yourself and take it out.
I don't think so. I've played with it a little bit. I'll try some more, but if I can't, I'll just send an email.
Okay.
Will that
That'll be
work?
great. Yes.
Okay.
That'll
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so since we have no other questions at this time, we are going to give you back some of your day, and we appreciate you joining us today. And as you know, we're going to take all these questions that are in the chat, and we're going to send all of this information to everyone on the listserv. We'll have the list of questions and the answers that Lori and Jada are able to provide for us, the slide deck, as well as the recording link. All right, and I see one more question here. Are school nurses required to take the dyslexia awareness training? They don't instruct students, so we will get clarification. I will ask Lori for specific clarification on exactly who needs it, but my understanding it is those who are involved with instructing students. Okay, all right, thank you all so much. We appreciate you. Have a great day.